It seems I wore my long legs today. What if I... Cuckoo,
Forget what he says
cuckoo,
to the girl. Huh?
cuckoo.
Cuckoo, like
Cuckoo.
cuckoo
Oh,
clock.
listen. Unlike you guys, I only saw it once. So
Oh,
sorry.
today we're going to do a review of Longlegs.
Yes.
Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage.
Blair Underwood.
Perkins?
Don't.
Who?
Oz Perkins?
Oz Perkins. For those of you who don't know, is Anthony Perkins' son. Psycho, Norman Bates. And
Thanks.
there is a shot in this film that looks eerily similar to a Psycho Mondo poster. And I'm wondering if he saw that and he used it in the film. And I'm gonna put up right now a side by side of the Psycho poster and the shot from the film. And you guys let me know what you think.
After you
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
After you told me that, I was like, oh my god, yeah, I'm computer illiterate. I was going to try to get that and send it to you, like that scene in that poster, but I
Yeah.
can't. I can barely turn this thing on just to do this.
Before we get into it, I got to do a couple shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Rob at Telltale Tattoo in Merrimack, New Hampshire. If you're out that way, go check out his shop. Him and his girl both do tattoos, very different styles. Both are awesome. We got to give a shout out to Team Micah Monroe, who has been awesome through all of this Longlegs. Team Micah Monroe on Instagram and on Twitter has had all the drops. And the promotion for this film is incredible. I want to get into that too. The phone number. Who sent me the phone number?
I did.
Stevie, you sent it to me. I sent it to Mike.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And then I sent it to people.
I'm going to put that up. I'm going to put the phone number up. If you guys are watching this, just call the number. It's awesome. It's awesome promoting for this film, Longlegs. It's oh man, it's an incredible film.
Oh yeah.
Oh, one more shout out. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Ethan, who watches every episode, even though he doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. And then the regulars also, Zach, Sasquatch Man, Phil. Thank you guys for continuing to comment on our dumb shit.
Can I point something out really quick from someone?
Yeah, well, it's your channel.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt, and it has nothing to do with Longlegs, but my my sister-in-law lives in Delaware. Found out about us doing this. She's been watching it, and she knows you guys picking on me for the Texas Chainsaw stuff and everything.
Yeah.
She bought me this awesome Texas Chainsaw shirt.
Oh hell yeah!
And she told me this podcast that I need to wear it and let her know about it so she can watch it.
Is that from the
It's
remake?
From the Netflix one.
Is that the new one?
That's from the remake.
The brand new one, not the remake that I hate. But yes. So
That's
thank
very
you,
cool.
Lindsay. I love it very much.
And I'm gonna put a link to Rob and Team Micah Monroe in the description of this video, so you guys can check out their stuff too. So, if you guys want to get into this, let's get into this.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna try to do a spoiler-free review, and then we'll put a warning up, and then we're gonna just vomit all the spoilers.
Yep.
Okay. I started off with the promotion for this film. Amazing.
Yes.
I love not knowing what something's about. I stayed away from all the trailers, the phone number. There are billboards with just the codes,
like the cipher code. Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing else.
Yep.
I mean,
and it's funny because it was even more prevalent to me about the promotion for this movie when I was watching all the trailers before Longlegs, because every single trailer that came on was so long and basically told me the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that never happened with this movie.
Yes.
Because I went back and actually watched, like I didn't watch any trailers, but I went back and watched the trailers after I watched the movie, and the trailer does not give anything away.
I think they're starting to like understand that we don't want the whole story to be in the trailer.
That's
Some do. I think independent kind of A24 kind of neon, like they get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the big production companies don't. They want to try to show you the best parts.
Well,
those
those movies are kind of trash anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely love how, like you were saying, how secretive it is. Like, you don't even see Nicolas Cage's character in anything reading about this. Like, if they're showing him, it's something from other movies. They do not show anything.
And this isn't really a spoiler, but it took me a healthy minute to realize Nick Cage's character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching the film, and throughout the film, I'm like, when's this dude gonna show up? And it's like, oh, hold up, that's Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Yeah. There was one part that was very Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
but
I know exactly which part you're talking about.
I could have done without that part, but anyways.
I liked it. The first time I watched it, I'm like, eh. Then the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, I can't find much that I don't like about this film. It took 2 watches to really grasp it for me. And Stevie, you watched it twice as well. The opening scene, we looked at each other and we were like, this is awesome. But the second time you watched it, did you notice anything new?
Yeah, I noticed a few things in it. Yeah.
Okay. So, there were definitely questions that were answered for me.
All right. So I think what we need to do now, we just kind of let's go through what it is, right? So it starts off in the 60s or 70s, right? Starts off in like the 60s or
Starts off in the
70s, right?
Well, the very beginning. Yeah.
Huh? At the beginning, right?
I would think. Well,
When she's a little girl.
It was 70s. I would think.
It had to be 70s, because then I think that it jumped to, and that's another thing that you kind of like with things in the movie, you realize, okay, it looks like it jumps to the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts off with, that with her being a little girl, and then it fast forwards to present day, right?
Yep.
Well, 90s.
Where that little night, well, right, but for the movie it was right. It was
Present,
the present day for the movie, and then you figure out pretty quickly that the little girl has become whatever.
Yeah.
Become an FBI agent.
Yeah. And it gives me strong Silence of the Lambs vibes when it kind of fast forwards, and I'm sure that was intentional.
Yeah, I would say the first 45 minutes, hour of the movie was very Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, they were using that as like a tag thing for it, I guess. That following week it came out. I had no clue. And after I walked out of the theater, I looked at Matt. I was like, I got a real Silence of the Lambs feel watching this movie.
Yeah. So, new horror films. Where would you guys rate this?
Ooh.
New horror films?
Yeah.
It's got to be like a solid 9 for me.
Okay.
Not going 10.
I agree. Mike doesn't seem
solid 9.
Mike doesn't seem so sold on it. I'm gonna agree
Go
with
ahead.
I'm at a 9.
So I feel like I need to see it again.
I feel like
yeah.
I'm like 6.5.
God
Wow.
damn, really?
Wow.
That 6.5, 7. Yeah.
He's hard to please, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Hard-
wow. All right.
Um,
I get
What
it though.
were its shortcomings?
I'm interested to, after we get to the spoilers and stuff, though. I'm interested to hear Stevie with his 9, based on what I know about Stevie and horror movies and what he wants out of his horror movies.
I know exactly where it is.
I'm just saying.
So where were the shortcomings for the film for you?
For me,
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's hard. It's hard to talk about, I think, without giving spoilers.
Okay.
Where the
Well,
shortcomings.
you just guys want to jump into it? We'll put
I don't think we're very good at giving reviews without.
no. Hey, listen, I gave it a 9. Stevie gave it a 9. Mike's at a 6.5. If you guys don't want spoilers, don't watch any farther.
6.5, 7.
Talk about this.
I don't know.
We could possibly-
The first hour of the movie, I was at an 8.5, 9.
And then something happened.
Something happened.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Uh,
we can always right now, we gave our opinion, what number it's at.
I got some more questions that are non-spoiler reviews.
So why don't we do the
Okay.
questions and then like after that, edit it, cut it, and then the next one will be like you were saying. Then we can talk about.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah, you can just say, okay, spoilers now, and then you can put up a thing and say spoilers from this point on.
All right. So
So
my
we-
questions to you guys. The antagonist in this film, Longlegs. I mean, where do you rate him?
For me, I would give him about a 7.
Okay. And I'm not putting him against this movie has a more real feel until a certain point of the film. And then it becomes more I don't know, fantasy. Right?
Just stop for a second.
Okay, so I really appreciate the character of Longlegs. Within the first 30 seconds, I'm like, this dude is creepy as fuck. I love this movie. And then
You
the
and I
first
looked
30
at each
seconds.
other. You and I looked at each other when the credits, like you were saying, and I was like, I have goosebumps and a huge smile on my face. I love it already.
And the way it's shot in that like the 35 millimeter,
Yep.
the old style, and then it zooms into a newer.
Yes.
Yeah. This is up there for me, man. And can we just talk about the lead, Lee Harker, Agent Lee Harker, Micah Monroe? She's scream queen. Like for me, Jamie Lee is down here, Micah Monroe's up here. And it's not just because of It Follows. This chick is just knocking it out of the park with all of her roles.
I think she's doing a good job. I agree. I think she needs, not to sound like a jerk or anything, but I think she needs to have a few more films under her belt for that. Because
What, like a fish called Wanda?
No, I'm not referring her to Jamie Lee Curtis, but I'm just saying
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003.
As far as I know, and I could be wrong here, like she hasn't been in many horror films yet, right?
She's been in a lot.
Has she? So I'm wrong.
So,
okay.
No, I mean, Watcher. Significant Other was kind of horror sci-fi. It Follows. There was I don't know if you guys remember, there was an app called Quibi. I think it was Quibi, where they had like 3-minute long episodes or 5-minute long episodes of shows.
Oh yeah, yep, yes,
You remember that?
yes.
And there was one called The Stranger that she starred in, and then it was so good that they turned it into a movie, and that was about like I don't want to call it a home invasion. It was more of like a stalker film that she starred in. And they're all not B movies, but like under the radar movies.
Yeah.
But they're better than any new horror film that's out now. And
Well, then I retract that then, because I've only seen her in those two. I don't know the
I'm
like.
gonna send you some stuff.
So I guess I don't know then.
And
But I am impressed by her acting.
and I also really like she's been doing like short films uh on YouTube. Like she was dating the guy from Stranger Things, and those two, like, they were pretty big stars, and they still did a 15-minute short film. So they actually love the genre, which
Awesome.
is more to say than Jamie Lee Curtis, who will only do it for money.
I
And I'm
agree.
sure that, money has a big part in it, but like these roles are being picked because the stories are good, and it doesn't seem like it's for money.
Yeah.
Right on.
Those two, and
So
then, Alicia Witt, who was the mother, I didn't even recognize her.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
yeah, she did it.
So
Um,
the character
Well,
development I really liked.
with Micah's character, there were a couple things that stood out to me, but I have questions about it if things were intentional. But and I don't know if it was the mix of the theater I was in.
Mhm.
One thing that really kind of got me was how heavy she breathed when she was walking. Like it was really distracting.
Like out of breath.
Yeah, like immediately. Like I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but when she's home alone
Okay, I know
and
what you're talking about.
and she's walking and it's like super loud and super intentional.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sure it was intentional to build a sense of panic with the audience.
Yes, but it
You know what I mean?
yeah, she's an FBI agent.
Oh, you think she should be in better shape? Like, why are you so
I don't
short of
know.
breath?
It was just she was very short. And now if they would introduce that maybe she was, she needed an inhaler or something. I don't know. It was just it was very and it happened a couple times where it was like it was so distracting.
Yeah, there was twice that happened that I counted, I seen, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to that so much, but other people that seen it like actually brought it to my attention. So I was like, oh yeah, that is valid then. It's not just me being picky, you know.
Okay, so good. So other people have said that to you because I look, I know how much this guy loves Michael Monroe, so I know I got to tread lightly.
Well, listen. I assume that it was intentional. I'll have to look into it and maybe pay attention next time I watch. I'll definitely watch it again, and I'll.
I do feel like how she did her character was super intentional based on what I know now. Um, and I'll get into that when we do the spoilers.
Yeah. So the first time I watched the film, I'm like, I don't understand what this is. Like, why is this character acting this way? You
Mhm.
know, and then you understand.
But
Ish.
I think to get out of the spoiler thing for later on, as far as my review, it was extremely refreshing to see this film. It was different for the most part, but that's been coming out lately. It was different. It was eerie. It really was a mind F, it really messed with
Mhm.
you.
Yeah,
And you like those kind of movies, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I agree. Highly recommend. It's not over the top with the gore. The gore that is there is kind of exaggerated. Um, I mean, maybe there are some gory parts that I'm thinking back, but that's not what makes it scary. The anticipation is what makes it scary, and the gore is there. It's a little over the top, but um, they're not. Well, there is the one scene that's like, oh, this is really fucking gross. I don't. Do you guys want to get into the spoilers?
Yeah.
That's why I did that thing about refreshing. I was doing that and then have you guys do that so we can get into spoilers.
All right, let's get into spoilers. I'm dropping the spoiler alert right now. Spoiler alert. turn this off if you don't want to know what happens.
You don't know anything about the movie right now, but
All right.
we didn't do a good job of the review.
Can we talk about did you guys see the Hidden Devils?
Yes.
I
Okay.
caught two the second time I watched it. I didn't
I saw
catch any
two.
the first time.
So that's a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, there's over 15 Hidden Devils.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I didn't count how many times I've seen them, but I see them. It totally remind me of The Exorcist, like that version you never seen.
So where did you guys see him?
Oh boy. Well, there was
Would you shadows count?
Or was it a devil
It was like
shadow?
yeah, like if it was, I mean, it was definitely devil shadow, like horns. And then I saw one in a window that looked like, I was like, that looks like a devil in a window.
All right.
I can't tell you.
The two I caught was when she was going through the evidence of the case, and they were
at the
doing.
library.
No, when she was sitting on the floor.
Oh, okay.
And then the
Right
other
floor.
one was in the basement. But after I saw the one, I'm like, oh, I got to keep an eye out for these, and I still didn't see.
So you didn't see the one in the library?
He didn't.
Okay.
Is that one that you saw?
There's one in the library. I caught that one.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Can I
remember.
say that the one, so the theater that I saw mine in, and I told Naylor this, the theater, the picture was super dark. And I asked him, I said, hey, when you watched it, was the movie super dark where you couldn't make out things? He's like, no. Like that one part you're talking about where they pull the sheet back and it's got all the maggots on the dead person. I couldn't see that at all.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
a
maybe
big,
that's why you
really
gave it
freaking
a
awesome.
6.5.
it is. You know, I
That's
can't appreciate how different it is, the movie.
The
I
film
mean,
is really beautifully shot.
oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about let's talk about Nicolas Cage's Longlegs. The prosthetics that he used, the voice that he used, I had no clue for the first 30 minutes probably until he did that singing part. There's a part where he sings.
Mommy,
Yeah.
Daddy,
Yeah.
save me. Yeah. Yeah.
Then I realized,
You like that singing part in the car.
the first time I saw it, I'm like, I was like, this is weird. Second time I saw it, I'm like, okay, this fits the craziness of this character.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought it was like a cringy Nicolas Cage type thing the first time I saw it. And then second time I saw it, I'm like, all right. I was much more accepting the second time.
I agree with that because it was the first time I saw it, I was like, why is he doing that? But yeah, second time I totally got it. I picked it up.
It was like a weird like a sense of frustration. I don't know exactly what happened in that hardware store, but like he had a hate and disdain for whatever that girl brought her dad out. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then he turned it into this weird thing. I just feel like it's something a crazy person would do.
Yeah.
He is crazy.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. Okay. The way that Lee Harker acted, I didn't understand. I thought maybe she was like a Rain Man type of autistic
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
beginning. And then it gets into what happened in her past and why she is this way. And that made more sense to me. Watching it the second time, everything gelled a lot better. It was much easier to watch.
Yeah. So going back to that scene in the house, that was a little bit of a weird scene for me. because she's in the house. She knows there's somebody there. And she sees somebody go in the house. She sees that they put something on the desk. And she had just went outside the house, like, was breathing real heavy, really nervous, really scared. But then all of a sudden, in the next scene, she just sits nonchalantly, starts opening the letter.
Yeah.
That bothered you?
It bothered me a lot. Like, like this whole thing, like, was the buildup, and then all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, okay, do. I'm gonna.
I get that. I get that.
I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna sit. All right, it's all right. That's all done. Oh, they left me a letter. How nice. This weird letter.
I get it, but I mean, my argument with that, like, complaint I had about that breathing thing was she's a trained FBI agent, so she's not going, like, they're supposed to be quiet and not get worked up at stuff like that. And even if her past, she's scared because something from that, still, it's not going to be a because it's going to give them away, you know?
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. That was
Is that your biggest complaint?
what?
That scene?
What, the heavy breathing?
Well, that going in and being all panicked and then going in and reading the letter like nothing happened.
So that was something I was like, okay, but I could forget that because I really liked. I loved the whole look of that scene, like the house and everything.
Yeah.
And I was still 100% vested into the movie. Obviously where it lost me was the second half, where I feel it was rushed, and I don't know if it was just to get in time. I don't know, but I feel like once everything was kind of explained, like it just went like this, and it was like, oh, okay, so I'm just supposed to accept what they're telling me now. I don't know. I don't know.
So you think
Which brings me to my thing about Stevie giving it a 9, because it did go really supernatural.
It did. It did.
I mean, it went mega supernatural. So,
But I didn't look at it as being, I guess maybe now if I watch it again, keep putting that in mind, maybe I'll think a little differently. But I was looking at it in more of the, because, obviously it takes place in the like 90s when that whole satanic craze was going on. You listen to heavy metal music, the backwards masking and everything, everyone was scared to death. I was going in that route with it. Like, he is messing with their heads. He has some way that was his idea. He was going in and, with that ball and stuff, making them just, it was something that was messing with their heads and making them like this.
Yeah.
So that was my problem. Like, how's this dude living in this chick's basement and she doesn't know it, she doesn't see it? The second time I watched it, they explained it word for word that he lets you see what he wants you to see. Like, there was a line in there that explained that he's controlling all of this and that ball is a part of it. And that's why I don't really understand why she passed out when the people watching this aren't going to really understand if they haven't seen the film, but I don't understand why she passed out when her doll was killed.
Right.
I mean, I guess,
and they exploded the ball.
yeah, I guess it makes sense. Because if they shot the doll and she was just like, oh, whatever, you would see that had no effect on her. So the ball obviously had an effect on her throughout her life.
Yeah. So, okay, so seeing it the second time, knowing what was going to happen, did you see a difference in her demeanor after that? Because I don't remember if her demeanor really changed.
I didn't notice
the next
change. I mean, she seemed a little more like, well, no, I mean, not much. No, I didn't notice anything real drastic.
There wasn't much time though after that scene, and she's
went to the house, right?
Yeah, she went to her partner's, like maybe it was her boss's house, whoever, and
Yeah.
she was pretty with it, and she was pretty clear-headed at that point, and she had
Mhm.
a mission, like she was doing, she had a job. I'm
Yeah.
not sure why she let it get as far at the end. Like you're just gonna, that he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
I I think maybe we should stop this before they go into the kitchen and cut the cake. But she's like,
So that's what I'm talking about. Like that's so when she went in there, was she being controlled again? So because the mom was obviously being looked like she was being controlled
mm-hmm.
in that room, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in the presence of that thing, are you just controlled by it?
Well, the mom
Whereas
was doing
she's
it for the daughter. The mom was doing it for Lee, her daughter Lee.
right, but the mom definitely turned into the devil in that scene,
Yeah.
right?
Well, she
After she killed the her boss, the mom was gonna the mom when she stood up was definitely turned
yeah,
into
she
was
has some kind of possession
possessed.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So was she possessed the whole time while she was in there? I don't. It was just what you're saying about her letting him take her into the kitchen was bizarre.
Maybe she didn't
I'm
really
like,
think it was gonna happen.
I thought maybe she just thought it was like not she thought it was, but the way I looked at it was she was part of the cult.
You ever go to like a cookout or a barbecue and like two cousins are fighting or whatever, and you're just like, this is not my problem. I'm just gonna let this happen and they can sort it out. He takes his wife into the kitchen. He says, I'll be coming out of the kitchen. You won't.
I
Hey,
yeah,
love that line that he
that's
does.
family business. You guys
that's
can do whatever. You know, when it comes to the kid, though, I got to step in. You can't be fucking with the kid. If you want to kill your wife, then go for it.
I was thinking it was her just protecting the kid more than anything,
Yeah.
like not wanting to allow it to get to that point with the kid. But
Do you know
I
what's
really,
bad about that scene? Is in the background behind Lee, there's a stereo. Like it's an old stereo, probably from the 70s.
Mhm.
It was the same stereo that my parents had and that I took. I had it throughout the 80s and 90s. I still have it. It's the
That's cool.
exact same one. It's not the Iowa that Mike gave me, but it's my stereo. I got
awesome.
that made me so happy when I saw that. I thought I was the only.
I got excited there when I saw the Duran Duran Rio poster.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
There's
that's awesome.
oh okay. There's something else I want to talk about. But I'm sorry. What were you getting into, Stevie? Before I cut you off talking about my stereo.
Oh, I was just making a comment about like I was saying earlier about the cult thing. Like I really think because some of those cults then were really they hid behind religion a lot, so they weren't exposed, so they could gather more cult members. So
Mhm.
they would like pretend that they were religious, but really they're satanic, part of the satanic cult. I thought watching that whole scene and seeing the mom act like that and stuff, she was basically the right hand man of this cult. Like you had the Longlegs, and then there's her doing the work. She
Mhm.
got brought into because of the daughter, and that was just her mind. It started off rough for her, but as she got used to it, it was easier for her. But I think it was just all one big mind f as far as this cult goes.
I
I didn't
love
see it
I love
supernatural. I
cults. I
thought it
love
was
I love the satanic panic aspect of it.
yes. Did not expect that at all when I first seen it.
No, I thought it was just going to be a serial killer movie. I was
So
really happy with it. Something that I noticed, and I want to ask you guys. Mike will know this because he catches on to these little things. When they found out that she's like kind of psychic, for whatever reason. They put her in the
Mhm.
room and they flash those shapes at her and they say, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, later on when they visit the psychiatric hospital and the girl from the one family that kind of escaped, there's a picture of one of those shapes on the wall. Did you notice that?
Yep.
I figured you would. And you noticed something
Yeah.
else too that I don't know if it was
Um, yeah. So, I think it had to be intentional. So when she goes to visit her boss's, the Blair Underwood character, I forget his name. What was this character's name? I wrote it down.
you
don't
usually
His
have
character's
notes.
name was Agent Carter. Agent Carter. So went to his house, right? And met the family and met the little girl. And the little girl's like, first of all, that was foreshadowing, right? When she's like, oh, it's going to be my birthday, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that right there was a little foreshadowing. But then she went into the bedroom with her and they're just hanging out. And it's a pretty innocuous scene. That nothing really happens. But if you look on the little girl's shirt, and I'm like looking, I'm like, that can't be uh coincidence. So it was there was a tree, and then by the tree was a figure that looked like Longlegs
On the shirt.
on her shirt. She's
Oh,
wearing a
wow.
white shirt.
I noticed the house.
Maybe it was a house. Again, I saw it in a theater that was super dark.
Yeah, so
Like the screen was super dark. Okay,
it
so it
looked
was a
like the
house.
house from the beginning to me.
Okay. But it was, I could definitely make out Longlegs. I was like, that's Longlegs on her shirt.
Hmm.
There was no doubt in my mind.
Hmm.
Am I wrong on that?
I didn't see Longlegs. I just saw the
I didn't-
house and I was super like hyper focused. There were buttons on it. So I was paying attention to maybe.
I was too into like watching Micah's character, how she was her response to everything. Because I was trying at that point, I was trying to put together: is she autistic? Is she just weird? And I was too busy staring at her face, watching her like, how uncomfortable she was being in that room, not facing the kid until she points out,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
looking
kids
back.
kids make people uncomfortable sometimes. I get it.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that scene real quick where she goes to the family's house and they're all possessed. So
We're bouncing around a lot. I'm
We
gonna
are.
apologize, but we watched this movie and we haven't talked about it and we vowed to each other that we would not talk about it and now we're just letting it all out. So sorry you guys got to deal with that. It's just how it is.
this conversation how we're having is exactly why we wanted to do a channel like this, because we would forget about this conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like the scene before, when her mom shot the doll, destroyed the ball in the head.
Mhm.
He now knows that that's how you break it. That's how you can break the cycle. So I don't know. I'm thinking, oh, she's going to shoot the doll and it's going to snap everybody out of this trance and she's going to save everybody. But no, she doesn't kill the doll at all.
She doesn't.
So the little girl is still kind of under the spell of the doll. I don't know. That scene was it was very strange that she let him take her to the kitchen. Which makes me think, like, if she had snapped out of it, but like Stevie's saying, the cult thing, I don't know.
Well, there's a line in there where I want to say the mom says you can't do anything to save her. She's already the mom is already dead.
Yeah.
So
Well, right. But what we know of movies is that they always say, like, oh, there's nothing you can do. Well, there is, because you just showed me how to do it. You just showed me how to break this.
listen, it's the family barbecue. I'm staying the fuck out of it. Pass me the chicken. Give me one of them chicken legs.
It's just
You get sorted
it
out.
comes down to I don't know. It was a great premise. I'm not sure that the ending was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
What if they're setting up for something different? Like, what if they're gonna put out another, like a prequel or a sequel or something? Maybe they're setting up for something like that.
Well, with as good as this movie did, I gotta believe that something will happen.
Oh yeah, it went crazy in the box office.
Yeah.
I don't know with all sequels. I don't know if it would hold the same magic that this did for me. But what'd you guys think of the doll? I thought the dolls were super creepy.
Yes.
Oh yeah. The one they
Especially,
found in the floorboards at the barn.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it when
Yeah.
it has that veil over them and their eyes just kind of show through
Oh, that
it.
was the other, and Mike didn't see that because the theater he saw it in was so dark. But when they
So
have
dark.
the veil over the dolls and their eyes glow, that
Yeah.
is so cool.
When Matt and I saw it the first time, uh, I had to like tap his shoulder and look next to me. Some guy was there on a date with his girl, and he's sitting there watching a movie like this. One point, he was like this.
The guy was.
Yeah. It was great. I'm like, it was so funny. But
So
it was mainly when they had the doll with the veil over it, you see his eyes, he's like, oh no, I heard him say that.
hell no.
And then he started covering his eyes and stuff. It
I
was so
think
good.
I think I need to see it again. Um, I I still feel that the issues I have with it are going to be there, but I can appreciate the movie. I can appreciate it being so it is refreshingly different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sticking with Stevie for me with these new horror films. New horror films, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Horror films in general, it's like comparing it to 70s, 80s, 90s horror films. It's going to drop the score a little bit for me. Um, but it's still up there. I'd still give it a 7 or 8, 7.5.
I was gonna say about 6, 5, 7 for me, comparing it to the older ones.
But anything that's new that's come out, it's so much better than most of these new horror films.
Well, okay, so that's it. So that is what you, I guess that is what you said before, comparing it to movies of now.
Yeah, if we're comparing it to
Which it's
all,
so it's hard for me to compare it though, just because I can't, because it would go up for sure.
yeah,
But now you guys are saying your scores are coming closer to mine, and that would be because I just look at it as a horror movie overall.
yeah.
Um, but putting it up against so this I keep hearing this is A24. I didn't see A24 anywhere on this movie. What is it, A24 or is it Neon? And
Neon.
Yeah, I don't
because
believe it's
everything
eight.
I keep reading, it's like A24, but I'm like, I didn't see A24 anywhere
Yeah,
attached to this movie.
I thought it was Neon and some other small company. I didn't hear anything about A24.
Yeah, so which Neon seems to be A24-esque, right? Um, so I don't know. Compared to movies of today, I would definitely I would give it definitely a higher score. Um, but
The
that's
gore
all.
in this reminded me of A24 gore. Eh, Again, spoiler alert, but when Longlegs is smashing his face on the table,
Oh
Yeah,
God.
that was very A24 to me. But I mean,
You
and
gotta
then
go
when the yeah,
down in the dirt,
yeah,
down to get clean. You gotta clean the dirt. Like
Mike,
a
how do you not give this a better score?
I got to see it again.
You got to
I'm
see it
telling
again.
you, it was so hard for me to see things.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
So
dead
like even
animal. Stevie pointed out there was a the guy cut the head off a cow.
did
So
you catch that the second time,
well, I
Matt?
saw it the first time, and then I realized why you liked it so much because you love torturing animals.
animal torch.
What a jerk. I did make the bad comment leaving. I'm like, see, Matt, it's so good. You had children and you had dead animals. He just, where are dead animals? And then he
Just
was like,
crossing these off the list.
How's this not a 10 for you? You were able to overlook all the supernatural elements.
well, I look at it like I said, I didn't look at it in the supernatural realm. Like now that you guys are saying that, I want to watch it again and think of it that way because I just went the whole cult route with it. Like I
Oh, it's
was
definitely supernatural.
I
Well,
was going
so
straight up cult, like backmasking and like stuff like that. I took it that route.
I don't think it was like you're saying it was definitely supernatural, and it was, but it was supernatural in the satanic cult type of way, and not so much like over the top, you know, crazy ghost type of way.
I guess the way I'm thinking, and I kept trying to think of the word, but it was more subliminal, like subliminal messaging, like trance wise, not so much like supernatural.
When they get into the
Yeah.
balls in the head is where it gets uh supernaturally, like the
Yeah.
phantom spheres in the brain.
Yeah.
Like I
Uh
was wondering, like when you guys were saying this, I was thinking about it, like they didn't show it or anything like that, but what about like instead of it being a supernatural thing, more like a hypnosis type thing? Like somehow he messed with them when like hypnotized them or something. So when that ball is around that it sees it because whenever she saw the ball or anything like that, she saw those snakes and stuff. So it was like obviously messing with her mind.
that's still not real.
Supernatural.
When I'm thinking of sci-fi or supernatural, I'm thinking of like spaceships and
Yeah, but like
those.
there's no such thing as like a ball that's gonna hypnotize somebody.
Well, no, but
I don't care.
Things that make. What about things that people say, like things let off certain tones, right? That
yeah,
mess with people's heads.
Like
yeah,
Pavlov's experiment with the bell.
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
And
That's a stretch.
it's a stretch. It's a stretch.
I
For
mean,
sure.
it's supernatural, but it's not like supernatural like UFOs and shit.
Well, my thing was when she destroyed the doll and the ball came out, then it just she didn't shoot the ball, right? It just poofed into thin air.
Well, she shot the doll in the head, which I'm assuming hit the ball, and
With
then
the
Okay.
shotgun, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
so that it was kind of a spray shot or whatever. But um, then you see like it kind of smokes out of
Yeah.
Lee Harker's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was just showing you the connection there between the ball and
Right.
the
And when they cut open the other doll and the ball, and the guy keeps saying that he say he touched it and
now he
he
had like a sonar.
saw things.
He put it up and it kept saying his ex-wife's name over and over.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the one you said, Agent Carter, maybe said, "Well, cut it
Yeah.
open. I want to see what's inside." And the guy's like, "Well, there's nothing inside there. I can tell you." And then when he did cut it open, it timed up with the time that Carrie Ann, the girl, jumped off the building.
Jumped out the building, right.
So
And that was a that was another thing. It's like he started getting um kind of pissed off at Harker, right? In that scene after, like he started hitting his head on the thing, and he's like, "We lost our only connection." It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's not her fault. And then so, and then he got upset with her for the chick jumping out the window.
yeah,
So was that was that connected to the daughter already getting the doll, or do you have to be in the room?
it could have, because
It was
well,
really weird that he got all pissed off at her,
I
like immediately.
I took it as if he got upset because they have nothing now. All the leads that they had where they were going is just gone now. There's nothing.
Right, but he was blaming her for all of it.
so let's talk
He
about
was
this
basically
ball.
blaming Parker.
So the ball, it controls what the girl sees, right? And what she doesn't see. But it also is obviously controlling the father to kill his whole family.
Right, but then it turns the wife, like to Stevie's point, it turns the wife into this like submissive whatever. And as you saw before, the same thing happened with that other family with the dad and the priest. And
Mhm.
then the mom was like, the mom like literally saw the dad kill the priest and was like, oh, and just kind of walked into the room. That
Yeah.
was another thing that was kind of weird. So it affected everybody differently.
And I wonder, like, you never see Lee Harker's dad, so I don't know where he was.
See that I was gonna bring that up a little later. We're talking like how like what if they do another one and like insinuate somewhere where the reason why the mom is the way she is and this all going on maybe and he's in the basement. What if she's like Longlegs' daughter or something and he's like the head of this cult, she's the girl, and then Lee's down here, and then she's like the queen of this cult or whatever.
Well, that would be a weird twist.
See, I feel like that would have been, that's honestly where I thought this movie was going. I thought this movie was going somewhere where he was either her dad or he was the mom's dad, something like that. And I thought that's where this movie was going.
Yeah.
And that's why she was kind of connected to it. You know, why she didn't get killed or whatever. But it didn't.
Well, it could
That was,
in the future.
yeah.
I don't think they
It
ever
was just,
talked about it.
See, I like movies like this. It might be weird out there, but it once again it brings emotion. It's making you think. It's making you like what? Like really dig into it. It's not like artsy fartsy out there. Like there's something
it's
there.
pretty artsy.
He's got it is. It is. But when I'm saying that, I'm thinking of like that new I don't even know what to compare it to. Just those films that like just have the crazy lights and weird things going on throughout it, but it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Like an
This
abstract type of thing.
what's that?
Mhm.
Like an abstract
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah. But this one, there's a lot there. They gave you a lot to work with. I don't know if it's supposed to be open to your own interpretation, like you take what you want from it. Because I think ultimately what we're all saying here, it all makes sense, you know, but and it can all definitely answer those questions, but also it's bringing up other questions, like I said, I looked at it as a cult thing. You guys saying that, and it's like, oh, it is different. I can see where they're coming from with that,
I
and
look at it more like satanic cult. Well, I don't know cult. There's not really a lot of people in it. Satanic possession is more what I look at it as. Which would, to me, I'm so relieved. I'm so sick of the Exorcist type movies. I was really looking forward to the new Exorcist with that kind of possession. And it was just, it was tired. It was regurgitated. Same bullshit story. This was like, this was something different. I wasn't expecting it. It was fresh. Um, you haven't seen spheres like that since Phantasm. So I liked it a lot.
Matt Spring calling me out about the animals and the kids. I'm calling him out because it's got the spheres from Phantasm and his dream girl.
Yeah. Yeah. He's already, he already started off at a 9.5.
I was just busting chops, scooping around, Matt really thinking about it. Like,
Huh.
what do I do here?
A lot of things going through his head.
Yeah, yeah. So, how surprised were you guys at the beginning? The
What?
first time you realize she has the psychic powers, and she's like,
The
that
chime.
right there. Like, both times I saw it in the theater, the whole theater went, oh,
Yeah. The second
when that,
time I was watching the theater to watch everybody's reaction. when
Mhm.
she's like, he's in that house. When they're on their first case and it's her and the other new guy, and he's like, I'm gonna knock on the door, you stay back.
Yeah.
Like, all right, motherfucker, go ahead. Like, he's in that house. I don't really understand that whole thing because they had the debriefing in the beginning where they're like, he's armed, he's gonna put up a fight, blah blah blah. The guy goes and knocks on the
He,
door,
he just gave himself up.
blows his brains out. So she runs in, and I did notice the breathing on that scene too. She goes and finds him. He's just chilling on the bed, hands up,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
That was
don't.
weird.
And he's like, I won't. Like, what?
Fighting.
What just happened? Like, why is this guy giving himself up?
Well,
All of a sudden.
again, we don't know much about that guy, what he did and why they were after him, but what if he was one of the, like, the father, got the dog with, like we've seen, where he killed the wife and everything. What if he's one of them?
Don't know anything about that scene. It could be anything.
And that guy's like, she's there. She's, maybe she's the daughter of Longlegs or something. And he's like, all right, I did my part. I'm done, because there are a bunch, there wasn't a lot of actors in this, but they talk about a bunch of families. What was it, like 12? They're trying to get to 13 or whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming all of them were somehow related in this cult somewhere, somehow.
Well, I don't know, Mike. You got to watch it again. I'm giving it a high score. High score definitely amongst the new horror films. If you guys want to go watch a new horror film and something that's new and refreshing, I'm gonna say Longlegs. If you want to go watch the same regurgitated uh, bullshit, go watch something else.
So I agree with you on that. Regardless of my rating, I do think it's something people need to go see because I do think it can lead to these types of discussions, and that's what makes it good.
I am so thankful for this movie because I went and saw that violent nature, and it literally made me sick to my stomach because I was so excited about that movie, and it bummed me out. It was horrible. And I was like,
Was it
man,
bad?
I'm gonna go see Longlegs, I don't know what is, and I came out of there happy.
Yeah,
So it kind of like boosted my morale a little bit
and
about
that the first scene, the first 30 seconds, I felt like I was a little kid watching that movie with you again. We look at each other, we got the goosebumps and we just this big smile on our face. And from there, the movie for me, it didn't disappoint. I was not disappointed in that movie at all.
nope.
I didn't think at any point, well, this is dumb. There's like the little things that maybe I didn't understand the first time I watched that, like, how does she not know that he lives in the basement? But I just let it go, and then I watched it again, and things made a lot more sense.
Just like The Shining.
Oh, the that's different.
You
That's a
watch,
different level of
but
movie.
first time you watch The Shining, you see the scary stuff scary, but there's so much in it where you're like, what is that? I don't understand that.
Yeah,
It's like that to me.
I've seen that movie a thousand times, and I still see things that I don't understand.
Yeah. Yep.
But we're gonna have to do
Yes.
a Shining show.
And I don't know if this down the road, years later, if this will be the same way or not. But I guarantee you, the more you watch it, you're going to keep picking up more and more and more.
I hope so. I really like the movie. I don't know what else he's done. Oz Perkins, but I'm impressed with this. So
I just looked him up and I forget there was a movie he did. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was him. And I forget now what it was. He didn't do a whole lot, but yeah.
this definitely put him on the map.
I'm surprised, like, how well this movie is doing in the box office.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
It's blowing up. We have that theater here,
Mhm.
and it wasn't showing there,
Why
but
don't you just give the people your fucking address?
they put it in. They put it in a week later because of how well it was doing.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll edit that. Wow. See, I feel like I'm just hanging out talking to my friends
I
here.
know
You know?
Mike said my last name, so whatever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, our first couple of videos have our names on
Have
it.
our
Hey,
name on the screen, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I'm the only one that don't have my last name. But there was something else. Oh, I have a question, if you guys noticed this or not, because I really didn't.
All right.
Brandy, when I went and saw it the second time, Brandy and I were sitting watching it. After the movie, Brandy brought up, remember the scene where he is laying in his bed? It has that, was it Singer to T-Rex poster or whatever above his bed or whatnot.
Okay.
And he's laying there, and it's like when they're talking about the doll stuff and everything, but it's just like kind of, it's just showing him there. There's nothing really going on in the scene. He's just laying. But she said that in that scene, it looked like he was a midget. Like his legs looked really small.
I didn't
Really
notice that.
thin. I didn't
Mm-mm.
notice it either, but I thought she was just goofing around, but she was dead serious. She was like laying in that bed. He does not look like tall like he does in the rest of the movie. It almost looked like his legs were like, she said it was like someone from
Wizard of
King of
Oz.
the Hill. I guess like a grandpa or something got his legs blown off in a war and they sewed his feet to his knees or something. She said it looked like that.
Well, I'll have to watch it again. I was too busy looking around him and
Yeah.
to see like what was in there. Like, what does this guy own? For some reason, he had a guitar. It looked like a Flying V electric guitar. I don't know if you
I
noticed
didn't
that.
see that. I did notice he had a guitar case when the cops came
At
up.
the bus stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did notice that, but I didn't catch the guitar sitting in there. But
So a lot of little things. I'm gonna have to watch it again. I'll wait until it comes out.
I'm
Hopefully they
sure
like
you read
release it.
this. I'm sure you read this as well because you knew about the phone number and stuff, but did you catch that I guess one of the trailers they had her heartbeat. She had like a regular heartbeat. They put like a monitor on her, a heart rate monitor,
Mhm.
and her heart rate was just normal. But then when she goes into that interrogation scene, like that's the first time she's face to face with Longlegs. Like that's the first time the actor, seen it.
Yeah.
And I guess her heart rate got really, really fast, and they used that in the trailer, and that's her real heartbeat.
I didn't watch any trailers, but I did read
Yeah,
that was,
She didn't see him, right?
yeah, she
what's that?
hadn't seen Nicolas Cage's Longlegs.
Yeah,
Micah Monroe hadn't seen, and I guess her heart rate skyrocketed. So whether that shows how creepy he actually looked or what a good actress she actually is, either way, it works. I mean, if I saw that dude for the first time, you know what I mean? He's a
Yeah,
creepy looking dude.
what was more messed up to you about him, the look or the voice?
the voice.
The voice.
The voice outside of that part where he sings, because that was definitely Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
but other than that beginning part, like I'm with you guys. That first 30 seconds, minute of the film, I was like, oh man. I was
Yeah.
like, in fact, I was gonna be fine if they just kept it like that the whole time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, I thought that was fantastic the way to screen that. I got excited every time they showed it like that up there,
Yeah.
that square when it would come in for the past, and then
Hmm.
He gave me strong Buffalo Bill vibes.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I think the voice worked really well with his look, and it was
was the
unsettling.
combo of the both for you.
Both for me, it was very unsettling.
Right on.
His
Oh yeah.
voice, with the exception of that singing part, and even with the singing part, it it didn't give it away that it was Nicolas Cage. Like the singing part did, but when he was doing his voice, his Longlegs voice, like he's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I never heard him talk like that before until this movie, but I was told he was in that Renfield movie, and I heard he uses that voice in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'd never seen it, so I didn't know that. because I was like,
started
Brady,
watching that, but
I asked Brady, I was like, did you notice it was Nicolas Cage right away? And she was like, well, yeah. I was like, really? How? She was like, well, it said right at the beginning credits, Nicolas Cage is Longlegs. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. Crap. And then she said about the voice because of the Renfield thing.
I mean, it's like Con Air and then long legs for me. You know? Long legs takes it.
What about The Rock?
Air's up there. I don't know. Nicolas Cage to me, I love the movies he's in. I liked his remake of The Wicker Man. That Christmas movie he's in, it's kind of like it's called The Family Man. I like that movie.
See that?
I liked Con Air.
He's good in Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know
What
what.
about that movie that's a rip off of Five Nights at Freddy's?
Oh,
He doesn't talk at all in that whole movie. He's
I know
so
what you're talking about. I never watched it though.
it's good. He doesn't say a word throughout the whole movie, but just his acting just does it.
He's a great actor. The whole cast to me was really good, really great casting choices, and Nicolas Cage knocked this out of the park too. And he wasn't even really in it that much, which I also appreciated. I don't want to
No, he
see
wasn't.
I don't want to see him all the time because he'll lose
Yeah.
his scariness.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny
agree.
though that they showed him right away.
Yeah. And then I like that you didn't see like the top of his face till he got down, and it's like I don't know what I
just
saw.
what I just
Yeah.
see. And I love how they take a break with it. You know, he does that and then it's a while
Yeah.
before it's
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. About the time frame when he did that whole Hail Satan thing, it was, you know, by that time they were starting to show him a little bit more, and I was like, all right, and but I think it worked out perfect. I heard it he's not wanting to play any more violent roles like that anymore because of this movie. I read like some kind of article, they were talking about this film, and he said he might be done with his violent killing roles or whatever
It's
after this.
Hollywood folk.
A lot of it brings in the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But
All right, so I guess that wraps it up. I'm giving it what do you guys want to rate it based off of modern horror or just in general? Mike's going in general.
I have to go in general. I mean, I don't know. It's when you talk about modern horror, I mean, what am I putting it up against?
can we put it do both?
Yeah. Modern horror, I'm at a 9 overall. I'm at 7.5 probably.
I'm gonna go with the 9 overall. I really enjoyed it a lot. It was so good, and I would probably go. I'm gonna stick with the 6.5, 6.5 to 7 as far as comparing it to, you know, older films.
All right. Where are you at, Mike?
You can't. I mean, I'm gonna just stick with the 6.5, 7. I need to see it again.
Yeah, you do.
I think that I kind of got, you know, the fact that I saw it in a theater that was super dark. And I can tell. I'm like, there's no way this is on purpose because it was so dark.
That sucks.
Yeah. Like I especially when I saw some scenes where like you know that I'm supposed to be seeing something and I can't see it. So I could once I do that when we put this video, I'll put a new ranking in the comments, or maybe I'll think it's the same. You never know.
All right.
It'd be like a whole new experience for you, a whole new movie.
It could honestly could be. I might just wait till it comes out so I can watch it at my home and just kind of go at my own pace and really enjoy it that way.
I bought the record, the vinyl, the soundtrack.
Oh, really?
Oh, the sounds in that movie. The sound. We didn't even talk about the sound.
We didn't.
The sound was awesome.
That's all you had to focus on since you couldn't see the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
But I did buy the soundtrack on vinyl, and it comes with a card from Longlegs. It's in code.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You got to break that code.
Yeah.
This
That
I
sounds
wonder if this says
that
something about
sounds awesome.
cutting your milky, saggy titties off.
That
So
kind of
did
movie.
you
You're not really talking about me,
No,
did
are
you
you?
no,
Okay.
no, not you. I was just the
so
movie.
were you guys trying to figure out the time frame like I was? And then I realized finally when I saw the picture of Bill Clinton that I knew it was in the 90s because
I was going to ask you, is that
that was
when you realized it?
that's when I realized for sure. I was like, okay, because it was like it could be late 80s, it could be it was like,
I
but
didn't
then
even,
I saw the Bill Clinton.
I just figured it was in the past.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, had no idea it was the 90s, but I knew it wasn't now present
Yeah,
until that.
right, for sure.
And then afterwards, after seeing the movie and everything, hearing about that whole satanic thing, and that's what this movie's taken, precedence about, about the satanic cults thing, the satanic scare. Then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So it was late 80s, mid to mid 90s. So
I missed that. I missed like the satanic panic.
When we watched that and then I read that, it was so weird because Mike was just in town not too long ago,
Mhm.
and we watched that video of that kid who shot himself listening
Yeah.
to the Judas Priest songs, playing it backwards. Remember the backmasking? That's all that time frame. I'm like, how coincidental is that? We just talked about this. Just watch that video, and
It
then
was
I
a
see.
simpler time when people were like, there was no, like, people believed that stuff. You
Yep.
know, maybe it's still real. Who knows? Maybe this is what the devil wants us.
Check your dolls, Matt, for silver orbs inside of them.
First of
Uh-oh.
all, motherfucker, they're action figures. They're not dolls.
I do that all the time with the kids. Like, Steven is dolls. They're action figures. They're not dolls.
All right, let's cut this. It's getting long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see what you did there.
It's getting a little long legs in the tooth.
You get a little long legged.
I got to figure out why he says cuckoo. I still haven't figured that out.
I think
Because he's insane.
being creepy.
Because he's insane.
Yeah. He's
I think
just
there's something behind it, but
being creepy.
Nicolas
I
Cage.
want to know why they talk weird.
who?
Him and that girl in the mental hospital. Like, some words they said differently.
Well, they're demons. They're possessed.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're worried about that? Not worried about why they're killing people off?
Well, I was just curious because she was talking that and it was very subtle, wasn't all the time, but there was certain little words here she would mess up. And then during that interrogation scene, he did the same thing. And I'm like, oh, why is that? Why do those two, what I didn't know what caused that. But
He becomes then, doesn't he? Isn't that the whole thing? Like the whole reason behind the orb and stuff, like he takes control of them? Because that's why she couldn't tell that he was in the house.
Well, he's just the doll maker. So he isn't that one that's in charge.
Well, what I'm saying is that they're possessed by the same thing,
Yeah.
same
But no
entity.
one else talked like that though throughout the movie. That was supposedly possessed.
Well, maybe they are, and we didn't know.
We got to watch it again.
Yeah. All right, I'm getting back into it. We're cutting it off. I'm sorry. That's how good the movie is. That's how
We're
good.
gonna do Longlegs review part 2.
Yes.
Go watch Longlegs. It's in the theaters now. Leave comments.
Go to a good
Let us know
theater.
what you think. Let us know anything crazy you saw, devil sightings, whatever. I want to know everybody's thoughts on it. I really enjoyed it. Mike hated it. Stevie really
didn't hate
enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching,
Yes.
and we'll see you next time.
We appreciate it.
Hail
Bye-bye.
Satan.
Bye.